We look at these bills, we look at all these amendments, and we're all addressing the same question. Should we force a rapid transition away from traditional combustion engines and toward electric vehicles? That's the question. Okay, so it seems that the mature and responsible way to answer that question would be to collect the relevant facts and then apply a reasonable cost-benefit analysis to the question. So let's actually do that. The claim from my Democrat colleagues in the EPA is that a rapid transition to EVs will be nothing but rainbows and sunshine with all the benefits and no downside whatsoever. Now, I encourage my colleagues to write a fiction fantasy novel about that scenario because that's exactly where it belongs. In reality, the data shows that they're pretty much wrong on every account. The facts demonstrate that there are massive costs and very little benefits. Vehicles will be less affordable and less capable. That's a fact. Our reliance on China would increase, not decrease. That's a fact. And actually, here's the kicker, global carbon emissions would increase too, especially in the short term. Here's why. So the claim is that this radical rule from EPA is necessary to reduce the twin crises of global climate change and air pollution. Is that true? The fact is there's little evidence that the mass adoption of electric vehicles will result in significantly less global greenhouse gas emissions. In fact, the opposite is probably true, and here's why. Every single battery for an electric vehicle requires the mining and processing of roughly 500,000 pounds of materials. It requires significantly more energy-intensive metals like aluminum than traditional combustion engine vehicles do. And according to the manufacturers themselves, the manufacturing of these vehicles generate 70% more emissions than traditional internal combustion engine vehicles. That means they need to drive about 70,000 miles or more just to break even on the emission side. So this means, at least in the short term, and it's not that short because 70,000 miles is a really long way to go, especially when you pretty much only use these things in urban environments. That means that, just according to the math and the facts, mass adoption of EVs will increase global carbon emissions. Full stop. It's a fact. You can't argue with it. It's just the math. It's also worth noting that internal combustion engines are continuing to increase in their fuel efficiency over time. And you don't have to take my word for that. Just take the IEA's word for that, because according to the International Energy Agency, increases in automobile fuel efficiency will displace at least 300% more petroleum than the addition of 300 million EVs by 2040. It was said earlier that EVs are a threat to oil and gas profits. Well, this fact disproves that. Facts matter. We aren't worried about the oil and gas industry here. We're worried about our constituents. You want to be serious about addressing global emissions, you got to focus on real solutions. Streamline nuclear permitting. Encourage more export of clean U.S. LNG, which displaces foreign, dirty coal.
Good afternoon, friends. I have big news to share with you today. So there is a major update. There is now a growing number of lawmakers that are pushing for passing new legislation that would financially assist the American people. This plan would require billions of dollars in funding and send out monthly checks to many. My friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video for everything that you need to know. Also, I will be announcing several winners in a video later today for the Walmart gift card giveaway. Please make sure, friends, that you enter these giveaways by clicking and liking several of my videos. The more videos that you watch and then comment on, friends, the greater your chances of winning these giveaways. More lawmakers are now showing support for another round of stimulus checks. North Dakota Republican Governor Doug Burgum, a presidential candidate, recently told reporters that he supports expanding the child tax credit. This is a position that is growing in popularity among Republicans who have elevated the importance of family support. Governor Burgum spoke with the Washington Examiner for an interview on the economic policy this week. When asked specifically whether he would support a larger federal child tax credit with work requirements, he said yes. He echoes GOP supporters of boosting the credit, such as Senators Marco Rubio, Mitt Romney, and several others. Republicans have long debated the tax credit, with supply-siders squaring off against more populist, family-focused lawmakers. But lawmakers and GOP candidates have begun emphasizing family support on the campaign trail, including direct financial support. Governor Burgum also emphasized the necessity of childcare for parents. He said that accessible, high-quality, and affordable childcare is crucial in pushing for high workforce participation, which is a boon for the economy. He also pointed out that North Dakota has one of the youngest and fastest growing populations in the United States, and said that as governor, he signed into law a multi-million-dollar package to support childcare services in the Peace Garden state. He said while the money is directed towards childcare, it also indirectly helps barriers to workforce participation. Among the tranche of provisions, the North Dakota legislation provided $22 million to expand the state's child care assistance program, which pays part of the cost of child care for working families. Governor Burgum has also said, "We know when there is economic opportunity, that's great for families, and it's great for whether one parent wants to work or two parents want to work. We've got to make sure that everybody that wants to work has an opportunity to do that." The child tax credit has been around in various iterations for years now, and the current child tax credit is $2,000 for children, a level it has been at since it was doubled in 2017. The child tax credit was temporarily increased as part of President Biden's crisis relief legislation. It raised it to $3,600 for children under 6 and $3,000 for older children, with perhaps the largest change being the removal of an income threshold for those who receive the funds. So a family with no income would also receive the full $3,600 or $3,000 payments. The boosted tax credit did sunset at the end of 2021. So dear friends, what are your thoughts on all of this? Please let me know what your thoughts are in the comments section below. Republicans largely oppose the temporary crisis era expansion because of the lack of work requirements. They equated it to welfare without work. But some of the Republicans hoping for a bigger child tax credit have pitched their own versions of a tax credit expansion, ones that keep the work guardrails in place. For instance, Senator Marco Rubio and Senator Mike Lee in 2021 introduced a proposal that would have boosted the child tax credit to $3,500 per child and $4,500 per child under the age of 6. Senator Mitt Romney's plan, which garnered support from Senators Richard Burr and Steve Daines, envisions raising the credit amount and also making the tax credit available to poorer individuals, with families able to receive the full credit once their income reaches just $10,000. The increased support within the GOP for expanding the child tax credit is part of a broader shift towards more populist policies. Some in Congress have hoped to retool the GOP into the party of the working class and blue-collar America. A big priority of all the 2024 candidates is extending the expiring provisions within the law. And Governor Burgum said that if he wins the presidency, he will keep the 2017 tax cuts going into the future. Well, my amazing and awesome friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. My dear friends, thank you so very much for being part of this community. To show my appreciation, I will be announcing winners every Friday for the Walmart gift card giveaway. In a video later today, friends, I will be announcing several winners, so please make sure that you do stay tuned. Thank you, friends, and have a wonderful and very blessed Friday.